guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Andrew and I am the Gearhead Drummer. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when my newest content comes out, just in case you haven't hit those already. Guys, now if you're an old subscriber, you know exactly what this is, but if you're new, this is my dad's 1992 Cadillac Alante. We just got this thing started up 2 days ago, and there's a few things that need to be taken care of today, and I'm going to be showing you how to do those today. Absolutely insane how I can just travel back in time, but so we're going to go in my dad's other vehicle because he doesn't want to go in the convertible today. And
it'll rain in 5 minutes.
There's your answer. We're going to head over to AutoZone right now and pick up an oil filter. Now that we got the filter, we are at Walmart, which is being covered by trees, to get the oil. Okay, so now that I have the right oil for my dad's car, say hi to the world.
Hi.
Let's jump over to my work back in the more present time than right now, and I'll show you how to do an oil change. Obviously, this is a very different video than what I normally make, but I want to show you how to do a full inspection as well as an oil change and a tire rotation. So as I bring the vehicle into the bay, I check to make sure the windshield wipers are working properly. I pop the hood on the vehicle. I take off the oil filler cap, and when I remove it from the valve cover, I put it on the hood latch so that if I close the hood and accidentally forget to put the oil filler cap back on, I can't possibly forget because the hood won't close all the way. After I do that, I check the engine air filter and the cabin air filter. In this vehicle, I'm only going to be checking the engine air filter because it is a convertible and we never use the air conditioning and the heat, and because personally, I don't even know where the cabin air filter is in this vehicle. As you can see, the engine air filter is dirty in this vehicle. Sadly, I don't have a replacement engine air filter, so I'll have to be doing that at a later time. I put a drip pan underneath the vehicle so that when I remove the oil filter, I won't get oil all over the floor because this is a topside oil filter. Now, I top off the windshield washer fluid. I check the coolant level to make sure it's at a good level and to make sure the color is still good to ensure that it is good quality coolant. And last thing I did was I checked the belt, and the belt was very cracked. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it needs to be replaced. So I shimmied the oil filter wrench onto the oil filter. Then I went and put some gloves on because I didn't want my hands to get all oily. After I unscrewed the oil filter, I fished it out from underneath the air intake. If it was a bottom side oil filter, I would have taken it off after the drain plug, but because it is a top side, I took it off before I even lifted the car. Before you lift the car, you want to see if there's any top side leaks. That could be a coolant leak, that could be any power steering leak, that could be an oil leak, maybe your windshield washer fluid reservoir isn't holding anymore. It could be anything. On this car, I happened to notice there was an oil leak sitting across the subframe. Thanks DJ. You're a real pal. For the shut your mouth, Drew. Next thing you want to do is figure out how to lift the car. Some cars have mounting points. This vehicle has a pinch rail and has holes in the body so that you could put the hoist arms or the jack stands so that you can hoist it. On trucks, you want to do it on the frame. For the back, you can do it either on the frame or the leaf spring shackle. On some cars, you can do it on the subframe itself, but on this vehicle, it has 4 mounting points, so that's where I put the arms. Once you've lifted the vehicle, just give it a little shake to make sure it doesn't fall. Once you've got the wheel at a good height, rub the wheel to see if there's uneven wear or any bumpiness. Take a tread depth tool, check the inside and outside tread to see if maybe you need alignment if they're uneven, and if it's below 3/30 seconds, then you need to replace the tire. Next, if you have them, remove any type of hubcap or lug cover. Next, to start the tire rotation, I like to zip off all the lugs first before I start taking tires off.
Any of the tires seem like they're going to fall off though, just take it off. Don't risk it falling and you breaking a rim or popping a tire or causing any kind of damage. You only want to do a tire rotation if on a front wheel drive your rear tires have more tread, on a rear wheel drive car your front tires have more tread. Now on an all wheel drive system it depends on which tires are getting more torque at the time. For example, a Subaru has more torque to the back, so you'd want to put the Meteor tires in the back. On a Buick, if it's all wheel drive, the fronts have more torque going to them, so you want to put the Meteor tread on the front. If you have a staggered setup, don't even worry about rotating your tires unless you want to swap them side to side, but usually tire rotations consist of taking the front tires and taking them to the back. With the wheel off, it's a perfect opportunity to take a look at the brakes. If the brakes are below 3mm, they should be replaced. It's really dangerous to be driving with brakes lower than that. You can buy a brake measuring tool for about $15 online. I have a metal one. If you want to stick them through rims, if you're not doing a tire rotation, you can buy a plastic one, but I haven't seemed to find one online. Make sure to measure inside and outside brake pads. As you can tell, the outside shot kind of got blocked by the car in this one. When you're swapping over the rims from back to front and front to back, you want to put the lugs on immediately so that the wheel doesn't fall off. And if you want, you can tighten them right now, or you can wait till all 4 tires have been rotated to tighten them. I decided to tighten them immediately in this video. If you're on a hoist, before you lift the vehicle up all the way, you just want to take the front 2 tires and shake them a little bit to see if there's any weird suspension travel or any weird steering travel. I noticed that both of the front wheels were shaky a little bit. Once you have the vehicle fully in the air, you want to shake the tie rod, the sway bar, and the sway bar length for any unnecessary shaking that would require replacement of any of those parts. Now that you've done your full inspection, you want to pop out the drain plug, and if it's a bottom side filter, then remove your oil filter instead of doing it like we did on the top, and just wait for the oil to drain out. This would also be a really good time to double check anything you've missed on the suspension, like I never looked at the rear shocks or even the front shocks, and I never looked at the brake lines. I noticed that on the vehicle that the passenger front brake line had been replaced, and I didn't know that up until now. So I am no expert in any means, so I asked one of the technicians to help and take a look for me. Because it looks like the ball joints were, oh, it looks like the CV joint, when you're doing that.
Grab here and here, see, lightly. A little bit in the ball joint.
A little bit in the ball joint's starting to go out. Does that mean it's starting to go out, or is that...
Terrible, Jesus Christ. Fucker is leaking hard.
Yeah, and I don't know from where. I can't tell if it's
like
a trans leak or if it's a from the head.
I don't know. It's all over though.
If you have any suspension components like ball joints that need to be greased up, now would also be a very good time to do that. He did it on both sides for me, but I'll only show you this one. The technician had pointed out to me that the mono spring in the back was kind of breaking away like wood does. Once the oil is done draining, you want to put the drain plug back in and tighten it. Make sure not to over tighten it so that you can still get it off next time, but definitely make sure it's tight. This is also where you put the new oil filter on, but I'm going to talk about that a little later since this car has a topside oil filter. Now you want to lower the car You can either take a torque wrench, set it for a car, I like to do 100 foot-pound, or just take any car iron and make sure to tighten the wheels down with the car on the ground so that you can make sure that the wheels seat properly against the wheel hub. I forgot to check it before the car went up originally, but you also want to check your brake fluid, and if it's any other color than a gold clear color, the brake fluid should be flushed. Now you want to put on your oil filter. Before you do that though, you want to check to make sure that the gasket still isn't on the car. You can check that by either A, checking the old oil filter, making sure the gasket is still on that, or you can look where the oil filter goes on the car itself and see if the gasket is still on the car or not. Now that you won't be double gasketing your new oil filter, you can screw the oil filter back onto the engine and make sure to make that tight because you don't want it falling off or leaking any oil. Now put a funnel in the hole in the valve cover to add oil, and just add the appropriate amount of oil and the right type of oil into your vehicle. Put the oil filler cap back on. You want to start the engine for just a moment to get the oil running through the entire system. Once you've shut your engine off, you want to pull out your dipstick, wipe it off, stick it back in, and pull it out one more time, and then you want to make sure that the oil level is in between the two safe lines. Now before you close your hood, now that you're done with your oil change, possible tire rotation, and inspection, you want to make sure any cap or anything that you've opened underneath the hood is closed. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching that video. If you did like it, comment down below to see if you want to see any other basic videos. I can do a few flushes, maybe teach you guys how to do brakes. That'd be really fun for me to do instructional videos like that, and I think it would be really helpful for a lot of you guys. Now, sadly, as I mentioned, there was an oil leak on the Alante, so hopefully we can get that fixed really soon. I can't really do something like that. That's a much heavier and more involved job that I'm really willing to put into myself. That'd be something my dad would take to a shop. Also, I really don't know how to diagnose oil leaks. Obviously, it's just looking at where the oil leak is and obviously fixing it, but it's a little bit more than that. So I won't be making as much content with the Alante as I was hoping this summer, but hopefully I will be still getting some. Guys, if you did like the video, please make sure to like, comment down below, make sure to hit that notification bell if you haven't already, and definitely subscribe, guys. I will see you guys next time.